Yeah, we actually don't get our 7th clue until a few months later, February 2008, when a Dutch news program aired some hidden camera footage, and it appeared to show Joran confessing to disposing of Natalee's body. So it was all a part of this sting operation by a Dutch crime reporter who had just kind of taken up the cause of trying to prove Joran was guilty. And now this guy fully committed to the bit. He went undercover, claiming to be a drug dealer, and just befriended Joran, I think over the card tables, if I'm remembering correctly. And so in this video that this reporter releases, Joran is smoking cannabis in his new friend's car. And while he still says he never killed Natalee, he does admit that she died while in his company. He says that they had sex on the beach and she started shaking and just suddenly died. Then Joran says he panicked, called a friend for help, loaded Natalee onto the friend's boat, and dumped her body in the ocean without even making sure that she was actually dead. The video includes the chilling quote, "She'll never be found." Now, you guys are going to see a little snippet of this clip. I want you to kind of like pick up a vibe of what Joran is acting like.
In één keer, Patrick. Ja man, in één keer. En ik zo, konjo, wat is dit allemaal, weet je?
To me, after watching, cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
Didn't seem like he was being pressured to admit any of this. The friend provided a comfortable space, asked questions, and he just willingly answered. And Beth Holloway ended up seeing this footage as well. And afterwards, she responded, quote, "I hope his living hell is about to begin and he never gets another night's sleep." But when interviewed about this hidden camera footage, Joran claimed he was just high and telling his friend what he wanted to hear. After Joran's denials, the Dutch court ruled that the hidden camera footage wasn't enough to justify a new arrest. At this point, Joran had told so many lies and had made so many false statements, the police discounted this new version too, saying that there was no way of corroborating any new evidence. And I don't know about you guys out there listening, but like to me, this feels like a botched where it's like, he's clearly the only one connected. He's the only one that keeps continuing to tell new stories about her. And now he's admitting that, oh, he actually saw her die.
He's the only lead you have.
The only one.
The last person seen with her by witnesses who keeps lying and changing his story. And there's nothing.
It seems like you would at least try. But, maybe double jeopardy is a thing in Dutch courts as well. And so there was really nothing for the courts to do at this point. One silver lining for the Holloways, though, Joran reportedly had to go into hiding, fearing for his life, because after people all around the world saw this confession, they were sure it was him, and they hated him. But Joran was still going to go on to tell wild stories despite being in hiding, which is actually our 8th clue. On November 24th, 2008, Joran went back on the Greta Van Susteren's Fox News program On the Record to share a shocking, take a wild guess, new version of events.
Totally new story.
New story.
Who would have thought?
Which, can I just say, why are we giving this man so much airtime?
So much airtime.
So much airtime.
Oh my God. A 3-night interview also to start with just seems so wild.
Read his book, Greta, if you want to know his story.
They just knew that they could make money off of telling his story. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. And so this time when Joran goes on, he claims to have sold Natalee into sexual slavery for less than $10,000 in cash. And this was just handed to him by a stranger on the beach. Before Natalee disappeared, Joran had reportedly described himself on social media as a pimp. So some people were inclined to actually believe this story.
This was also 2005 where I feel like everyone was using pimp as like a, I'm so cool. Like that.
Yeah.
It was like much more in the lexicon of what people were saying.
Well, and I heard a clip of him on this show and to me, listening, it's like he's not even telling a cohesive story to her. He's like, yeah, some guy just asked me to get him a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. And then Greta was like, well, what was his name? I don't know. He just, you get the vibe.
Yeah.
He's lying yet again. And the only evidence he could really offer up to support this was a recording. It had what he said were 3 phone calls between himself and his father in which they discussed Joran's involvement in human trafficking. And in the recording, Paulus orders his son not to talk to anyone about what he's done. Fox News allegedly paid him $25,000 for an interview and access to those recordings. And while American experts couldn't determine whether or not the recordings were real, Dutch news just kind of went ahead and reported them as fake. Many actually believed that the tapes were made solely by Joran and he just recorded himself speaking in 2 different voices. But on the other hand, Jim Hammer, a former assistant DA in San Francisco, says Paulus did not deny that the recordings were authentic. So he kind of took this to mean, well, he's a lawyer. He's not denying it.
Yeah.
Maybe they are real.
Like they could have been real.
They could have been. Every week, we dive into the pieces, both hidden and obvious, behind some of the biggest true crime cases. Subscribe to Clues Pod with Morgan Absher and Kaelyn Moore on YouTube.
And remember, every clue counts.